Ziggy, coffee time. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to a video where we'll be making some espresso with DeLonghi ECP3220. Now they do have the all stainless steel one. I believe that one is the ECP3420 if I'm not mistaken, but I want to start off with the portafilter. So the one that comes with the machine has a pressurized basket, meaning it only has a hole here and then it distributes the coffee into here and it comes out. It gives you that fake crema. The bottomless one, well, that pretty much speaks for itself. It's just the basket, and then you have your coffee extracting from the bottom here. Now, what I want to do is put this portafilter in here and just let it get nice and hot. And the one thing I like about this machine is the group head actually gets hot, meaning it also gets your portafilter hot, and that is very important when if you want to get a nice extraction. Now the machine has been on for a little bit and I want to show you guys what I mean. So if I get a reading on that group head, it's telling me it's at about 80 degrees. Now, of course, if you don't want to keep your portafilter in here or if you want to make coffee real quick and you don't want to wait for this to heat up, you can simply just run some water through it and then wipe it down before you put your coffee beans in it. So while we let this heat up, I have my scale here that's from Temu. Again, I didn't mention, but the portafilter is from Temu. I'll go over all the equipment as I'm using them. We have our scale here that's also from Temu, and we'll be measuring in grams. So it also has a timer, and I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see that, but has your on and off, stop for the timer. There's your timer, and then you can tare, and then units. We'll keep it on grams. And I have some fresh coffee beans that I actually got from Mom's Organic. And the roast date is maybe like a week and a half or 2 weeks at this point. So I'm going to measure out 17 grams of coffee beans. Precisely 17 grams. So I'm at 17.1. I'm going to try to get to that 17, which is right there. So you can see it jump back to 16.9. Sometimes what I like to do is give it a little shake, put it back, and if it's not at 17, it doesn't have to be exactly at 17, but we're at 17 now. Now I have a little spray bottle. I like to give it about 2 sprays. Sometimes I do 3. Give it a little shake. And while we just kind of let that sit for a second, I just want to talk about my hand grinder. So this is a 1Z Espresso J Max S, I believe. And the bottom here, this is magnetic. Your burr is right here. And the grind size, and I'm going to go back to 0. So I'm pretty tight here at 0. I perform 1 full turn to 0. And then I go up to maybe not 3.5 but 3.7 or so. Now I do adjust the grind based on the beans, so if I receive different beans I do have to test around. So the grind size really doesn't, it's not something that you pretty much just set once and forget about it. Now what I'll do, let's go ahead and put our coffee beans in here. And start hand grinding. I'm actually not putting in a lot of work right now. It actually feels pretty easy to do this versus if you don't give it a spray. If you don't spray your beans, it's a little bit more tougher. Now, I've seen some videos of people saying, hey, there's, when I use my 1Z Espresso, there's so much coffee grinds at the bottom where the burr is. I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see that clearly or not, but when you give it a spray, there isn't actually a lot. And sometimes what I like to do is just hold the bottom, twist it, give it a little tap, just to get any extra coffee bean out. I mean, if you absolutely must or want, you can use your little brush that comes with it and get those extra coffee grinds out as well. But I really don't do that a lot of times. And let's take a look at our coffee grinds. So I'm trying to get the focus here. And there it is. It's very fine. And really it's based on the beans that you get. So you may have the same settings if you have a 1Z espresso, for example. You may not get the same results when it comes to extraction. It may be a very slow extraction. If it's a very slow extraction, what you want to do is a few clicks up to grind coarser. If it's coming out like a waterfall, you want to put a few clicks down to grind a little bit finer. And you just have to do a lot of testing, quite honestly. So now what we can do, and it's also pretty dry, so if yours is wet, you want to give it a wipe down. I have my distributing funnel, and it is magnetic, so it just sits on here, right? We'll put our coffee grinds right in there. That was also from Temu. And then we have our distributor. That's also from Temu. It's a nice little one because you can use it, like if you're traveling, for example, you can just screw it back on and take it with you. So let's use this and just distribute nice and get all those clumps out pretty much. I do give it a tap, and just so you guys can see, there's our coffee grinds. Now from here on out, if you absolutely want, you can get something like this where that can help distribute, and then it doesn't really necessarily tamp, but it just helps even things out, and then you can tamp right afterwards. Now I'm not going to use this in this case because this is not really something that you must get. I'm going to put that back, and I'm just going to go ahead and straight tamp. So I do have a tamp that's it has a spring, so this part sits on top of the basket, and then we can tamp, and then it'll stop once it reaches a certain amount. Now it also is adjustable, so I focus there. If I keep turning this, it is adjustable. So based on the basically portafilter that you have and so forth for like different machines. And now we'll use our tamp, and let me just move to the side here because I usually do this on my countertop because I don't have support here. And don't tamp until you break your wrist, but do it just enough, and then the result that we end up with. And the final thing I received from Temu or bought from Temu was the mesh filter and also the little holder for it. Now, although this holder is for a bigger one, this is a 51 millimeter, but it's still, you know, it does its job. It sits there. Now we'll put this on top. Now, just a quick note before you do put something on top, if you do use something like this, if you see a bunch of grinds, you can use something like this to get those grinds out. We'll put this on top. And then we'll put this right in. So now I'll get you guys a little closer, and then you can see the extraction. Now, normally I usually keep my cup right on top there so we can also get nice and hot, but let's go ahead and get a little closer and see how that extraction is. So I just want to mention that I do, you do want to get like a 1:2 ratio, but in this case, just for this video, I don't want to necessarily put the scale here because then you won't be able to see much. So I'll just do the extraction just for the sake of seeing how the extraction is. And there you have it, guys. So look at that, perfect time. I have a automation to turn off all the lights at sunrise. So it's early in the morning. But so here's my espresso shot. Now, of course, if I weigh this, I can't weigh it now, but what I could do, take a similar cup, keep it at grams, tear it, and put this one on. It's going to be a lot. Definitely not 1:2 ratio. It's 81 grams, but I just wanted to do this just to show you guys the extraction. Of course, you want to aim for a 1:2 ratio extraction. And I never drink my coffee like this personally. I do not like straight up black coffee. I always taste it. I mean, to my taste buds, it's bitter, even though if I go to a local coffee shop and just request an espresso shot, it will still taste bitter to me. I prefer to make iced coffee, usually like Vietnamese style iced coffee with sweetened milk. If you want to stick around for a recap of things that I purchased from Temu, let's go ahead and do that right now. So there's our scale. It's a close-up of everything. It has an on and off button, of course. It has your timer. It has, you can tare it. Right, you can do units from grams to ounces and milliliters. And we have our temp that has a spring. And then we have our distributing funnel. We have our distributor. Now this is very sharp. If you ever drop this, do not catch it, let it fall. And then we have our puck screen, which was in here. I'll remove this and show you guys. And then we have our puck screen holder. So our puck screen, get that out, right over here. Nothing fancy. The thickness, try to focus on the thickness. It's like so. And then our portafilter. Now, if you ever wash this, try not to get water on the wood. If you do get water on the wood, just wipe it right away because you don't know if this would, quality-wise, if it would crack or not. But quality-wise of the whole portafilter is pretty good. There's our coffee puck. This is what you want to aim for. You don't want something that comes out and it's just clumps. So you want to aim for something like so. And then of course, if I flip this over, pretty clean for the most part. I do have to wipe it down. I give it a rinse sometimes and just wipe it down. But there you have it, guys. This is the equipment that was purchased from Temu. And that's pretty much it, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys on the next one.